guys did. Contrary to appearances. You're everywhere.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Patty Salkin. I'm the Dean at Touro Law Center, and I would like to welcome you here this evening as part of our National Moot Court Competition on Religion and the Law. I would first like to thank our competitors and their coaches. You guys have not only been very busy all day today, but you have been busy for weeks and weeks leading up to the competition, and I know that your efforts have shown through very well today. I'd also like to thank our group of amazing judges. Our judges have been faculty, alumni, judges in the community, lawyers in the community, friends of Touro Law Center. Thank you very much for giving up of your time today to help law students from around the United States. I'd also like to thank the Moot Court Board and especially Jason Prince, our editor-in-chief. Without all of you, the competition would just not be possible, and I'd like all of you from the Moot Court Board at Touro to stand up so that we can thank you. There have been a lot of staff and faculty behind the scenes that have also been very helpful, playing truly just a supporting role to the Moot Court Board because they really have taken the lead. But I'd like to thank Linda Bowerly. I'd like to thank the staff in the Office of Institutional Advancement. I'd like to thank the staff in the Dean's Office, particularly Donna Johnson. And I'd like to thank the faculty, especially those who graded the briefs, those who are present today to honor the competitors and our Moot Court Board students, and those who judge the competitions. And of course, a special shout out to the Moot Court advisors who are with the Moot Court Board countless hours each week for the many competitions and all of the planning that goes on just to get us here today. It's a year's worth of planning. So thank you to Professors Heather Melniker, Lou Silverman, Tom Schweitzer, Ben Rajat, and of course a great shout out to Associate Dean Myra Berman, who has been with this competition from day one when it was just a seedling of an idea 2 years ago. And lastly, I'd like to thank and introduce Professor Sam Levine. Professor Levine is the director of the Jewish Law Institute at Touro Law Center, and as many of our competitors probably know by now, we are one of the small group of religiously affiliated law schools in this country. And Professor Levine really has been our contact and our connector with all of the religiously affiliated law schools, being there to make sure that we stick together and co-sponsor events. We have co-sponsored conferences. We have hosted 2 conferences in the last 3 years under Professor Levine's leadership on religious legal theory. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Professor Levine, who's going to make a special introduction of our speaker this evening.
Thank you, Patty. Good evening. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to welcome you here tonight, and I thank you all for joining us. I would also like to thank the other members of the administration, staff, faculty, and students who helped plan and organize tonight's events as part of the 2nd annual Moot Court Competition in Law and Religion. Most of all, on behalf of Touro Law School, I'd like to thank our speaker, Ken Starr, for taking the time to serve as a judge in tomorrow's Moot Court Finals, and for sharing your thoughts with us this evening in connection with the Moot Court Competition, addressing the important topic, the first freedom, religious liberty in America. Ken Starr has had a distinguished career in the law and the academy, including, among other positions, serving as United States Circuit Judge for the D.C. Circuit, Solicitor General of the United States, Independent Counsel, Dean of Pepperdine Law School, and currently President at Baylor University. In introducing tonight's lecture, I'd like to mention just two particular items from this remarkable career, both of them relating to law and religion. First, a short time after Judge Starr's appointment to the D.C. Circuit, the court heard the case of Air Force Captain Simcha Goldman, a clinical psychologist who wished to exercise the right to wear a yarmulke while in uniform. When the D.C. Circuit ruled against Dr. Goldman, Judge Starr filed a powerful and eloquent opinion, urging his colleagues to rehear the case. In Judge Starr's words, Dr. Goldman wore his yarmulke as, quote, a symbol of his faith, whose roots are as deep and venerable as Western civilization itself. A symbol of a great faith from which Western morality and the Judeo-Christian tradition have arisen. Judge Starr concluded forcefully, the court's holding in the case, quote, does considerable violence to the bulwark of freedoms guaranteed by the Free Exercise Clause. The case went to the Supreme Court as well, which likewise ruled against Dr. Goldman, though this time it was a very close 5-4 decision. The decision was likewise widely criticized by legal scholars, and Judge Starr's defense of religious liberty was later vindicated when Congress passed legislation requiring the military to accommodate the right to wear unobtrusive religious apparel. Second, on a more personal note, during Ken Starr's years at Dean of Pepperdine, I was at Pepperdine as a professor at the law school. During that time, I had the opportunity to co-teach a course with Dean Starr on a summer program at Bar Ilan Law School in Israel. The topic of the course, Jewish, Christian, and Islamic legal traditions, likewise focused upon issues of religious freedom, central to both tonight's lecture and the moot court competition. Again, thank you all, and I especially want to thank Ken Starr for joining us here at Torah.
Thank you, sir. Brings back great memories.
Well, thank you, Professor Levine, if I may be excused for saying so. Thank you, Sam. That was gorgeous. And I have a word of advice for everyone. Go to Jerusalem with Sam Levine and his beautiful family. It doesn't matter what your faith tradition is or no faith tradition. It is such a great city. And Sam knows a lot about that beautiful city on a hill. So, Sam, Pepperdine's loss is this great law school's gain, and so thankful that you're thriving here. And the family is so much closer to your loved ones. I know it was a long way away to be in beautiful Southern California from your venerable roots. Dean, thank you for your hospitality. I was not here on St. Patty's Day, but we went to the Irish coffee pub. Not to worry, the strongest thing we had was Diet Pepsi. It was really great. So thank you for your warm hospitality. We have known one another for quite some time, especially through AALS circles. And so thank you for your warm hospitality today. And to be with your Director of International Programs, who is a new friend, and talking about your program in Vietnam, which is so exciting. So I commend that to you for your consideration. And then with a very dear friend of longstanding, Jeffrey Morris. Jeffrey, would you mind standing? A distinguished historian. No, he refuses to stand. Jeffrey and I have reached the stage where we said, you're looking so well. So there you have it. So thank you. Well, I think the Moot Court Board deserves another round of applause. Would you stand again? I know how hard this is. And Brandon, thank you for... You've done everything except the weather. But you've even handled that with the biggest golf umbrella